Okay, I need to look for Angatir because I'm not sure if he's gone to the right place. Sorry, guys. Something sucks. Okay. Angatir. Because I don't know why there's like two of them. Two of this thing. Oh, someone is here. I hope it's him. Say hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. I really hope the chat works. I'm waiting for Angatir to enter. Okay, never mind. While we wait for Angatir to arrive, I will already start my introduction because it will be very boring for him to listen to my introduction, okay? Guys, hello, my name is Countess1. Wow, konnichiwa! Cool! Welcome to my third serious live stream. Is the volume okay? Okay, anyway, good afternoon, guys. In Singapore, it's afternoon. And today we'll be exploring the otaku subculture. Okay, cool. I will confess now that I had very little to do with otaku. I've watched very few anime films or TV series in my lifetime, and I've never read manga. But I did my homework nonetheless, which, as it turns out, was an enjoyable process. Because I'm fascinated by subcultures, and I thought that by doing some digging, I could have something extra to discuss with my friend Angatir, who loves anime, and to learn to do something new in process, or shall we say a new way of living that is culture to me, a different way of living and doing things. So the term otaku is in essence an interest which is not dissimilar to showing allegiance or dedication. In other words, to be a super fan. And the object of fascination here is contained in the world of anime, manga, or video games. Hi! Hi, Hambon! Why, oh boy, were you scared of my appearance? This is quite awesome, no? I think I'm going to do it more often. Okay, anyway. Cosplay is the second thing I would like to discuss. As to me, it is one of the more visible yet fascinating manifestation of otaku. So I was trying to be a character, trying to be a witch. I forgot her name already now. But you know what? I made it my own. You know, I am quite pleased with my outfit. Okay, third, I think it pays to discuss one anime film. So I chose a film because I didn't watch any TV series. I would very much like to discuss the 1995 Ghost in the Shell film, which many of you will know inspired the Matrix series. I think that the film in particular, and anime in general, can provide a suitable setting in which we can explore more deeply philosophical questions through the construction of realistic but imagined setting or environment, sequences, logical development, and so on. Okay, everybody, let's begin with otaku. Otaku is just another form of consumption. According to Japanese philosopher Azuma, it involves pleasure seeking within the confines of narrative. Otaku has negative stereotypes surrounding it, more so in Japan than in the US, because it is tied to social withdrawal, isolation, social ineptness, rejection of or by society, especially since the revelation that serial killer Miyazaki was a fan of anime and manga. So otaku is seen as encouraging obsessive involvement, increases detachment from reality, escape from responsibility while only providing the illusion of reprieve. So to what extent this is true, we will see. Stop me if you have any questions, okay? Click like, everybody. Okay. Cosplay is a visual and physical manifestation of otaku. So origins of cosplay can be traced all the way back to shoujo manga, which is a type of art form that depicts women under a certain age as though they were modeling latest fashion but not necessarily realistic. Who is weeaboos? Who is weeaboos? Seriously? Yeah. Example of shoujo manga, the very first one is artwork by Junichi Nakahara, whose work depicts women with very large eyes, okay? This art became a gateway for participation by young women interested in specific form of culture centered on fashion and performance. Oh, I'm not a white person, right? I'm Asian. I don't know. I thought otaku it's also like for uh generally. I think everybody deserves human rights. Okay. Okay, now this is the fun part, okay? Some authors argue that there is a link between cosplay and post-modernity, that is, as a reaction to idealism, as it challenges acceptable or mainstream conception of identity, reality, meaning, and reason. It also embraces complexity and contradiction in place of clarity and simplicity. So, postmodernity as an art form is unbridled and free from the constraints of rules, definition, authority, conventions, or what art should be. And therefore, it obscures the line between line dividing art and real life and culture, especially popular culture. So a very prominent example would be any work by Andy Warhol. Oh, anyway, you can tell them it's an art form now. You can argue that it's an art form. Okay, it's a reaction to idealism. Okay, so cosplay is the manifestation of the practice derived from post-modernity art. Okay, now let's take a deeper look at cosplay. So cosplay provides the setting in which fictional characters are turned into reality. Okay, cosplay involves a narrative. That means you act out a scene. You don't just put on this thing. You have to act out a scene. And through that lens, we see our bodies as capable of containing multiple identities and more than just a medium to depict an image. So, with attention to detail in appearance, performance, interactions, including the characteristics, the mannerism, the defining traits or qualities, conduct allows for the richness, multi-dimensional, and complexity, just like our personalities. So it appears that fiction can influence reality, and also that we have the ability to construct and choose our own identity. Okay, so why people want to do this? To create experiences that will allow them to transcend or define boundaries, limitations in the form of social, biological, psychological. They want to know what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. They want to know what it feels like to be a villain for a day or a superhero, to draw or rewrite their own story, to regain that power. They get to play different personality traits. So, like introverts can act like extroverts for the day. They can be eccentric or weird or loud or playful, and they can play different age. Okay. So, my argument is that it isn't true that otaku is a mark or an avenue towards social withdrawal. In fact, cosplay is evident in not just in conventions, that is the World Cosplay Summit, right? But also in other areas of public life, like in parks and restaurants, especially in Japan. And it's like a serious competition because they will be judged based on the authenticity of the costume and how well they play the character. So cosplay is in effect also a social activity because there's like a forum and then there'll be assistance on how to create the costume and there'll be an exchange and flow of information and ideas. So it's really like a community. It's no different from a person who likes hip hop. They emulate the attitude and behavior. They dress like them and everything. Okay. Yeah. So, any questions? Because I'm going to be talking about the film now, Ghost in the Shell. Tentacles in any way represent the struggle between man and his destructive desire to unthinkingly suck. Okay. Dude, Angetu is so quiet now because he's listening to every word I'm saying. This is very important to him, okay? Okay, everybody, since no one is saying anything, we will now talk about the film Ghost in the Shell. I'm talking about 1995 anime film, okay? Okay. Just now I said cosplay challenged the concept of self, right? Now we wonder if parts of us observed by outsiders is fictional. So whatever I'm showing you now, is it real or fiction? In other words, are we just performing versions of ourselves as we go about our daily life? Like when I'm smiling at someone I don't really like, and so on. So in the film, if you remember, the protagonist is known as Major, right? She's worried that she's going to lose her identity if she merges with the puppet master. But the point was that the unchanging sense of self doesn't exist because we change all the time, but our mental structure will remain. God. Enough with this octopus. Seriously? Stop it, girl. Okay. Resistant to change. Okay, the point of the movie, the film says, resistance to change equates subordination to limitations. Does it make sense? So we want to be better versions of ourselves, we have to change, right? Some parts of ourselves have to change. We cannot be stagnant forever, right? We want to be better versions of ourselves. So the puppet master says, he reminds us that even our cells in our bodies are self-sacrificing for survival to avoid the weaknesses of an unchanging system. But otherwise, it goes through the process of degeneration and regeneration. So in effect, only the genes remain. So this is likened to the sense of self, which is constantly changing. Seriously. Okay, third, life perpetuates itself through diversity. This we can see is evidence in reproduction. Okay, the puppet master wants to merge instead of making copies of itself. Why? Because copies do not give rise to diversity, and a single virus can wipe him out anyway. So reproducing and dying is the basic life process for him. It's inevitable, just like cells. Okay, Major, the character, also wants to merge. Why? Because in the earlier parts of the film, we see many clues. The most important one being that she feels constrained by herself, right? She wants to be more. She wants to be someone else, she says. Okay, so last point about the thing I want to say is that Ghost in the Shell, the film is based on a manga which is influenced by work entitled Ghost in the Machine. Okay, essentially, it disagrees with the Cartesian dualism. It says that the actions of the mind explains the actions of the body. Otherwise, it would be a category mistake. That is a mistake to assign properties to one category that is only logical appropriate for another different category. So we cannot say that something that is not made of matter can influence the body that is made of matter. So the film reflects that part of the idea. And the only way the mind can escape is prison because to the author, the mind is imprisoned inside this head and cannot leave. And in order to do that, to be able to leave is to interface through a process of interfacing mind and computer. And so the brain becomes a cyber brain. So this way it's free to live and interact by connecting itself to a cloud. Okay? And what is left of humanity is termed as ghost. So it is retained regardless of how much of your body is replaced with electronic or mechanical items. Okay. Hey, are you guys bored? Nobody's saying anything apart from octopus. Are you even listening? Seriously. Okay, what was I? Never mind, I'll just continue, okay? The film reflects a part of an idea that the mind can escape, right? It's prison. That's what I said just now. Okay, so now I don't know whether you guys want to talk about this or not. I want to say whether we have difficulty explaining why when certain areas in our cerebellum is damaged, right, that's responsible for motor function, only that function will be impaired. Yet consciousness is minimally affected. So I want to know if whatever this person is saying can be squared with whatever I just told you just now. Guys? How come when brain damage, the consciousness still continues, but we no longer have the function, motor function? So it cannot be that it's the same thing, right? That matter affects matter. Our subconscious goes beyond our body. Actually, one guy said that our consciousness is in fact, he says what? Information integrated across a highly differentiated system that cannot be reduced to constituent parts. Yeah. Cerebral cortex our brain has the capacity to integrate and differentiate information. So therefore it becomes the perfect machine to handle this consciousness. Yeah, I think so too. So I don't think that the guy is correct in saying that uh, that the mind cannot be separated from the body. Because we are mere windows, Hambone says. Okay, question, guys. Okay. If robots, right, robots went to war in place of humans and they are capable of making and executing decisions, right? So they see like, oh, look, I don't like this guy, I'm going to kill him. How does this affect perceived responsibility? Can we make the robot responsible for killing or the person who made the robot? Guys? Huh? Difficult, right? Anybody? What happens if I make a drone and then the drone can go and kill anybody it wants? Maybe. I was this maybe. The robots are programmed to just go on living, basically just continue and live like a human. Manslaughter. Then the guy can say, I didn't do anything, what? I didn't tell a robot to kill. I don't know why the robot went to kill anyway. The robot just says, like, maybe it goes around saying that only perfect human beings can live. So people who don't look perfect according to the criteria of the robot, he will kill. Scary, isn't it? Negligent programming. Then what if there are a number of people who build the robot? Some people do the algorithm, some people do the thing, some people put the gun, install the gun, then say for example we have 5 people working on the robot, so all 5 of them will be charged. Is it? What if it is built like in a factory that is impossible to know who built the robot? And there are like more than one robots. There are like 1,000 robots. Because it's funny. So they wanted to make like a policeman robot, but the robot went rogue. The robot said, I'm sick of this. I'm going to go around killing everybody. These are some questions that are interesting, right? Okay, never mind. Now, let's explore the connection between anime, manga, and cinematography. Robot won't be able to do what? They can have will outside their programming. Yeah, that's true. But robot, they can be programmed to do like a series of actions, right? They can be programmed to do one thing, and then that thing will enable them to do a series of actions. What do you think about that? Is it possible? Hmm? Are you typing? There was a cartoon Archer about this guy who was programmed to blow up when ordered to. He really wanted to. Yeah. Will it be satisfactory to put the robot on trial? What about the person who built it? Because the normal confines of how we normally we understand like murder is based on an action committed by a person, and then there's intention. So we cannot attribute to the robot intention to kill. Can we? Consciousness. Consciousness at the crux would be information, uh, storage of information within the system that includes memories. If the police robot acting of its own volition, I don't see how you could charge the creator actually. You see, that's the thing. That's really tough because now it's going to change the rules of war. Anybody who has this capacity to do so, they can basically start a war because then you cannot really blame anybody unless he made it go rogue. It's true. See, if he make it go rogue in a complicated fashion. What do you guys think about consciousness? What is consciousness to you guys? Is it more than a system, more than just a collection of information? Consciousness, what it is? What is it? Self-awareness. So as long as everybody is self-awareness, we are conscious. That is true. I mean, we could say that someone who is undergoing a seizure has lost consciousness, and at the point, do you think he's not self-aware anymore? What about if you are asleep? At that moment, are you self-aware when you are asleep, or is it just ability to be self-aware? Hmm? Hi, two people who was inside. Say hello. We are not going to bite you, and we are very friendly. Yeah, it's possible, right? And Goethe says, what if a robot had somebody inside it, operating it, then the robot went rogue and ignored the person inside and still smashing everything up? This is what happens to sometimes car crash, right? People lose control of the car because something is damaged, so they cannot stop the car. I think there's no difference. There's very little difference between that and the robot and the car. But then, I imagine robot that is armed is able to cause a lot of damage, especially if robot carries a bomb or whatever. But I think we need to limit the ability of robot to have weapons. Neon Genesis, okay. I don't know why people want to have robots that have. I think that if somebody one day says that we want to replace all policemen with robots, we should always vote no, right? Because very scary. Because not like he has no, moral values or whatever. He's gonna go he can do whatever he wants and not feel sorry because he doesn't know how to feel sorry. Okay, anyway, I want to talk about the connection. Okay, manga. I never read any mangas, but I'm sure you did, right, Angatia? Manga uses cinematic techniques. Okay, there are 3 of them. The first one is superimposition of one image over the other using slow dissolve. Unless robots are only classified as property. Yeah, why wouldn't it be classified as property? Same with dogs and animals. Some of them, all of them are classified as property. I think that you know how some people need to have license to have dangerous dogs? And then if the dogs attack somebody, I think that we need to make the owner responsible anyway. Built from aliens. No, I'm talking about the robots. We will make the robot the person responsible for anything the robot does, especially the robot is holding weapon. What do you guys think about that? Is it too far-fetched? So we make the person have an active duty to make sure that everything's in order. Hmm? Okay. Just now I was saying that manga uses cinematic techniques. Yeah. If a dog goes rabbit and bites somebody, they get put down. Same with the robot. The thing about human is that we always want to have someone to blame, isn't it? You want to blame the dog, but you want to blame the robot. Is it sufficient? Oops. Okay, anyway, that's yeah, manga and cinematic techniques. It's quite boring, but I like it because I didn't really notice this until I read it. Superimposition of one image of the other using slow dissolve, for example. So the purpose is to show a number of things. They want to show connection between characters or events that at that point does not seem connected. But if you do it, you show a kind of connection. So this will allow some kind of comparison to be made. You can also distinguish hallucination or dreams from reality. You can depict traveling, setting the stage, for example, by putting headlines from the newspaper. Berserk. Never read any manga. But you know what I like? I realized I like manga not manga, anything that requires me to think. So I really like Ghost in the Shell. I didn't realize that I would like it, but I did. I found out because I was just googling, and then I found out that Ghost in the Shell was the inspiration behind the Matrix. There are a lot of similarities, so I was just interested to see. And then I went to watch it, and I was quite blown away. Okay, Hambone, thank you for coming, and sleep well. Huh? Yeah, that's what I was saying just now. There are some similarities, right? The green numbers going down, um, the greenish background to show like virtual reality. Maybe you have the same jack at the back of the neck and the consciousness being able to be transported and everything. Is it ghost? Oh, standalone complex. Why do you like the Ghost in the Shell anyway? You know what I find a bit funny because normally, like if I watch Western film, I would expect some kind of sex scene. Yeah, I want to know why you like Ghost in the Shell. I like it because of the philosophical questions. It's amazing because I didn't expect that from watching anime, live action film maybe, but from an anime. But that's great, right? Because you can really create alternative worlds. And sometimes people, when you want to ask them a question, and uh, they cannot imagine, and then they cannot answer properly or to your satisfaction. But if you can provide them the world, they can see from their eyes what will happen, and maybe they might change their opinions. Maybe yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, explores an interesting near future setting as it's set in 2030s. They didn't have the I find sex scenes too many, like nowadays a lot of films they have a lot of sex scenes. I find it a bit gross, a bit cheesy. But somehow this they managed to get away with not having sex scene, so it's really awesome. even though there were a lot of naked bodies and things. I don't know how they did it, but I think it was awesome. What Laughing Man? Do you watch the TV series of Ghost in the Shell? Do you think they did a good job? Because I'm very suspicious about, spin-offs, especially when you have content as complicated as this, they have something important like this. Yeah, exactly. And in my research, I was reading that a key characteristic of anime is Japanese. Anime is basically animation, Japanese animation in film or TV series. Is that it's more about the expectations, like the boy meet girl, the boy is dreaming about kissing the girl. Yeah, so saying he's like obsessed with kissing a girl, but it's different in other films. Other films go like they go directly into sex. So I think it's quite, I don't know, the whole thing about the women being very sexy and everything. It's like very teasing. It's very teasing. So I guess it's like the teasing part is as important as the final part. What is your favorite animation film, anime film, and TV series? Hello, everybody. Come say hello. Yeah, yeah, they do have a lot of character development. It's really interesting. It's more than just, of course, they have the typical boy meet girl, but I think we can also see the cultural differences also, right? And I think some anime is created by men trying to act out fantasy. You know how they want to, they want to subjugate women or whatever. To explore different kinds of world, then I guess the audience themselves get to decide for themselves. This is the kind of world I want to live in. This is the kind of girl that I want. And also some of the women protagonists, they have like superpower. They're strong women. Some of them. Akira, yeah, I read it. I read also this Akira and Princess something Mononoke. Is that it? What in the world is this? Princess, that the other one. Because I thought it was like a princess show, and I'm not really a fan of princessy type of show. But now I know not to underestimate Japanese anime films. Tell me about the other show that I should watch that one. And Death Note, I did not watch the anime, but I did watch the movie, and I quite enjoy it because it gives me the idea, like you have this basically some the power to kill anybody you want. And if I had that power, what I do? Of course, it's always easy to say that I would choose to kill, some serial killer or serial rapist. But then again, I think about things like right to fair trial. Maybe he could be crazy. Maybe there are many reasons, and I just feel as if like it's not as simple as that. Looking for just serial killer or serial rapist to murder, or scientists. I don't know, or scientist that's developing like something that could destroy the world. Maybe I'll use it. Gintama. It's very long and starts off slow but gets really good after a while. What is a comedy? What is it about? Hey guys, there are three of you. Why don't you come in and tell me about your favorite anime film or TV series. Because as I was telling my friend Angetia, I've never watched a TV series before, and I've only watched some anime films to do research for this topic of discussion. So, come and join us. Hmm? They made a new one, short of Death Note, where he gives it to this kid who goes to sell it. I haven't read it, but he has Trump in it. Really? Oh my god. I want to watch it. That's the thing, right? Like, if you have such power in your hands and you don't want it, so you sell it, it could be dangerous. Shonen comedy. What shonen comedy? Do you know what I like also? I like to see animes that are set on feudal states, set like in the past. So like they can reimagine the past also. I thought it'd be really awesome. I think I read something about like that. The animes that were done post-war, they were concentrated on that, and also to reimagine life after Hiroshima. So it's really, I think it's an awesome medium to explore. Oh, what kind of aliens? They look like us or aliens that think? Oh, the thing I noticed about anime and all that is that how the characters, they have like blonde hair, they have blue eyes. Basically, they look very diverse, and they all speak Japanese. They all speak a single language, so it's kind of a utopia where you have in a single area we have multiracial people who can speak the same language, so they can communicate and everything easily. So I thought it's really awesome. It's an awesome theme. Yeah. Can't wait for you to type. I will just finish the other 2 points I wanted to say just now regarding the how manga uses cinematic techniques. Okay, the second one is close-up shots. This is to signify transition. It is also used to add emotional effect. They show details, typically facial expression. The third one is forced perspective. So it's basically the strategic placement of equipment or subject to make things appear larger. So I just thought this was really interesting to note, because a lot of films are adaptations of manga, and then you can also see that manga also uses cinematic techniques. So I just thought it would be interesting to see the play. Okay, and Getty says, like, there is no one arch where these gender neutral aliens come and make everybody switch genders. Really? I'm not sure. Do you want to be a girl? I'm not sure I want to be a guy though. I don't know what I'm gonna. I'll suck at a guy as a guy. Oops. Okay. Anyway, yes. Main cast in different roles. Do you know about the cosplay culture? Are we allowed to play different genders? Is it like frowned upon, or is that okay? Can a man play a woman and so on? I don't know if there are rules. You see, there could be rules in the cosplay. The girls acted like they were better because they did all the fighting. Oh well, that's really awesome. I love movies that show women to be more powerful. It's instead of I think it's kind of old that goes like old where women are just like powerless, helpless, waiting for a guy to come and rescue them, and till then they cry and be miserable. I think I'm fed up with the kind of film, but thankfully, filmmakers know better now. Guys act like dumb girls. Hey, Angita, I was wondering, is it true that some men are attracted to dumb girls? And if it's true, why is that so? And also, like, I was thinking that some guys seem to like women who act dumb because it will trigger the instinct, the instinct to want to protect. What do you think, Angita? Do guys like dumb girls because they can act manly? Do guys like dumb girls because dominance and such? Yesterday, I watched parts of Eric's live stream in which he talked about needy. He likes his partner needy, which I think is okay. I think everybody is entitled to define the kind of partner they want. Easier to get a reaction. Yeah, and I like to have a partner that I could need also. If I don't, I guess I have that difficulty finding a partner that I need. I want him to be better than me. So in a sense, you could say that I want someone who is needy. So I kind of agree with Eric there. I mean, it's nice to feel loved. It's nice to feel needed. I think who was it who was saying that he didn't like his girlfriend because she was needy? Was it Ethan, right? Ethan said it, right? Hmm? Okay. Anyway, animation is another avenue where we could see the effects of anthropomorphism. Okay, because here the anime can make it seem as if robots, animals, they can walk on two legs, they can dance, they can drink, they have human characteristics. That's the point. They can express emotion, they can recognize emotional cues, they can read body language, and imitate human behavior, and even recognize human behavior and what he means by that. Okay, the point is that researchers, I was reading through this. Researchers found that through the attribution of human characteristics to a subject, some people deal with that same subject by following the same set of rules and conventions as interacting with other humans. Yeah, intelligence is attractive to me as well. I think I think there was a thing. Someone was telling me that when she went into the a dating app, and then she noticed that everybody will go like, "Hi, I'm a sapiosexual." You know, there seems to be many of them in the dating app. Okay, as I was saying just now, anthropomorphism is the means by which non-humans become more understandable and predictable and appear more intelligent and more credible. So more credible so they can provide social support. So I read somewhere that you can have robots to look after the elderly, for example. So if they appear more human-like, people are more likely to trust them than a robot that does not look like any human or have any human characteristics. So the problem we expect from this anthropomorphism is the inappropriate expectations from the robot or the animal, or it could be anything. It could be a food or thing, or storm, for example. Even storm, any act of nature can also be a subject. And also, there are the consequences of the anthropomorphism is that we care for it and we want to hold it responsible for actions, as if we can form intentions independently and act based on this. Okay? And then the opposite of anthropomorphism is dehumanization. So it's the opposite. So basically, it decreases attributions of responsibility. So it's the opposite. Angetu says they have anime where non-conscious items are represented through cute anime girls. There's one about video game consoles, one about guns, and recently one about battleships. What battleship? Is it like a manga? Anyway, what video game characters do you like? I haven't researched video game characters at all. What video game character do you like? And also, did I ask you about your favorite manga? I think I did, right? Maybe based on the game. Have you ever seen a cosplayer, playing a video game character? Do they also act out the fighting scene? Because that'd be really awesome, right? And also, I read that the first cosplay in the US is a bunch of people who attended a convention and they dressed up like Star Trek characters. How awesome is that? And the reason why it isn't viewed as badly, cosplay isn't viewed as badly in the US than in Japan is because they're used to Halloween, Mardi Gras, and all that. So they're used to dressing up and all of that. I think in Singapore there's this like a cosplay group of people. I think it's really. I remember I watched like something on YouTube and I felt I don't know. I find it fascinating because there's such dedication, right? They make their own costumes. This was basically they invest a lot of money in it. They put a lot of money in it and time because they have to do everything by hand. And like I say, it's a competition. Then they will be judged on authenticity, and I suppose that would mean the difficulty or sophistication of the costume also, and not just costume, but also they have to build the accessories. Final Fantasy game. I was watching a anime by not by. I was watching an anime, a snippet of anime with Peter the other day, and he was telling me about. He showed me an anime about this one winged angel. Is that Final Fantasy? I think he or the other guy have like very large sword. I don't know whether it's a thing though. Like what's up with that? What's with like large sword? Sephiroth. Sephiroth is angel, isn't it? Do you know why he has only one wing? Two guys. There are two guys watching. Come and join in. Who is this Sephiroth guy? Why does the angel only have one wing? And why is he a bad angel? In the 7th game, the most popular. Ah, I see. Yeah, I see. Peter likes Final Fantasy, like I'm saying. So I don't know whether, to me, he's an INFJ, but he keeps saying he's INTJ, but whatever. I feel that, I think he can relate. He's very NI, right, Peter? He can relate to all of these things, I guess. He can see the underlying meaning, so he doesn't accept everything at face value. He can uncover what is buried underneath what is said in the Final Fantasy game. Do you know that I read also that anime can also be used to distribute to as a machine for propaganda? There was one guy, right-winged illustrator. He used it to make popular revisionist. Hang on, let me just. I wrote it down somewhere. I just thought it was up. You know what? Any form of medium can do, even art can be used as a machine for propaganda. Oh, right-wing manga artist Kobayashi's My Arrogant Declaration. He popularized revisionist views of Japanese history. Awesome. Are you sleeping, Angatir? Hmm. Okay, anyway, also I read that political anime. Yeah. I read that Ghost in the Shell, the Death Note TV series, also political anime, political theme underneath. I need to watch it though. I really, I need to find time to watch it because think of it as homework. I want to see how it is done. Yeah, I was saying something just now. I forgot what it was. Um, Tales of Symphonia is a similar game to Final Fantasy where they touch on racism by elves and humans. Oh, that's really nice. I think it's really nice to expose people. That's another way of telling people stop being a racist. Instead of just telling them stop being racist, then you can just show what happens when you are being racist. What happens when someone is the victim of racism. I think that's really clever. Half elves are hated by everyone. That's something similar, isn't it? There were some books I read, also like half angels books about angels. Half angels are hated by everyone. Even Harry Potter also carried that theme. Half magicians, half what do you call that? What do you call the people who are not mog muggle? Muggle? Half magical beings, half muggle are also discriminated against by Voldemort and his followers. I think it's awesome to expose to children at that at that age already of this idea. I've watched Harry Potter so many times. I just love it. I guess you could say it's an escape because they made the world so rich. They make it so real. Also, they use animation right inside there. They make it so real and everything. And I like the theme of being alone and still succeeding because it's everybody's wish, right? In this world to survive, they want to, even if they all find themselves alone and they have everything taken away from them, they want to be strong. They want to overcome the greatest enemy. So I like the message also in Harry Potter for that. For anybody who's struggling. Yeah. People sometimes I find that anime and all of these things, they tell you things that is true. They tell you things that other people don't tell you. The news don't tell you, the media don't tell you. So they show you a different side, not just tell you what it is, but to show you so that you can decide for it for yourself. So that's very important, right? Because if you just tell anybody, it is different than when they make up their own minds by themselves. Because then uh, they feel more responsible for their thoughts, I guess, and they take more they recognize it more. How do I say this? I don't even know how to say this properly. Yeah, I think so. I like to read between the lines. I mean, that's what I did for Ghost in the Shell. If I just watch it like that, I go like, "Ee, what's going on here?" But um, because I already did, because I already read a bit of background, so I knew what to look for and what to expect. the final scene was the most important for me, of course, because it's where everything is being broken down and you can understand properly. You can understand the whole rational point of the film. But if you know what you're looking for, I guess you sort of like you view the anime with different eyes. I guess you can say that. I was viewing it with different eyes. I was more open. It's important to be more open. If I wasn't open, I wouldn't be able to catch all the references and the clues that is needed, and to have an open mind to not just reject like, what is this nonsense he's saying, but you need to accept it as a possibility, so that you can follow the argument after that. And then maybe at the end of the thing, you can make up your mind whether you believe it or not. But the point is that, you just be open to interpretations, open to different explanations. I think that's very important for every human being who wants to be a better version of themselves. Full Metal Alchemist, in a really popular anime which touches on the idea of karma. That's really nice. What other anime touch on other religion apart from the Shinto religion? Because it'd be really awesome. And also, you know what I really like? I like to watch time traveling type of show. Show that time travel. I've always liked to imagine, like, if there's one thing that I could do, I would invent a time traveling machine. And just to observe culture, how to see people live, how people live and everything. And just to observe culture, how to see people live, how people live and everything. Because we take whatever we have for granted. They lose their mothers and try to bring her back to life. But he loses an arm and a leg and nearly loses his brother, but manages to bind him to a suit of armor. Ooh. So is it like Darth Vader, is it? Because Darth Vader is basically that, right? It's reduced to almost nothing. Brain in a suit. This thing. Oh, I was saying, other examples of anime in Western films is the Avatar, Steingate is sort of about time travel. He makes this device that can send text messages to the past and it changes everything, but only he can see the changes. Steingate. What do you like about the time travel show? And what kind of shows are attractive to you? What kind of theme is most attractive to you? Cyberpunk is quite awesome. There is a cyberpunk show. I almost got confused. I always get, I was trying to think, right? Ghost in the Shell is quite similar to the new TV series called Altered Carbon. So instead of saying ghost in the shell, our consciousness, it can be stored in a kind of an external thing. A stack is called a stack and can be transferred also with bodies. So he's an otaku and acts like a scientist. Oh, that's really nice. Okay. So the show, the Altered Carbon show, I was saying, is quite similar to Ghost in the Shell, except that the body can die. The body can die, but as long as the stack is working, can be transferred. I guess, it's quite similar to Ghost in the Shell, is it? Can you like kill anybody? Because the I think I read that in the ghost in the shell, the brain is being encased in technology. It becomes like a super brain. It is embedded. It is like received an upgrade. So I was thinking that if even the body is dead, say paralyzed or whatever, it can, as long as the brain is intact, can it also be transferred to somebody else? But the TV series Altered Carbon, I think it also forces us to come to terms with money, the issue of income inequality, because if you are able to prolong your life like that and you have money, then that means that the richer you are, the better body you have, the longer you can live, and also the better you look. Because in that show, people who are poor, who cannot afford to have to spend money, they have to get whatever that's left over. So they could be, the daughter could appear in an old woman's body and all that kind of thing. So yeah, quite interesting. Yeah, they can replace their bodies. Yeah, but I think the show in Altered Carbon, the bodies are made of flesh. I don't think they're totally 100%. Most parts, I mean, they can be replaced with mechanical parts, but the bodies are also can be made of flesh. And then there's another show whereby, since the body can be destroyed, but the consciousness, as long as the consciousness remains, the body is not dead. So can people go around, have this fantasy and wanting to kill people? So they kill them, pretend to kill them and all that. So then we have this moral question, right? Can we allow such activity even though the victim, agrees to be killed for money, for example? Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, it is 1 hour after I've been talking for 1 hour. Thank you very much for coming, Angatir. I hope you enjoy my live stream. Thank you also for recommending to me the world of anime, and to allow me to be privy to a different and magnificent world, and to be able to to be able to think about more philosophical questions. Yeah, I don't play video games though. I do, you know what? I kind of like film more than I do TV series, because TV series is more like you require dedication and a lot of time. I don't really I can't do that, but I do like film. I really appreciate anime films. Yeah. So, okay. So see you next time. I don't know what else I'm gonna do live stream next time. I guess I'll think about it and let you know. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. Bye, everybody.